Hello, welcome to the Woodturning podcast. My name's Mark.
And my name is Will. Welcome.
And I am Garry. How you doing?
In this episode, Garry talks acrylic crochet hooks, Will has issues with his vases, and Mark gets down and dirty in his workshop.
So Mark, how's your workshop going up? You going to crack on, give us the latest update on that?
So for those who have been following me on Instagram, they haven't seen anything in probably 2 weeks now. Nothing's happened. The workshop itself, the main building work is done and the rubber roof is on. And it's an unusual roof. I've gone for a pitched roof, and originally I was going to put roof tiles on. But that became cost prohibitive. It's an 8 meter by 3 meter surface area roof. So that would have been a hell of a lot of tiles. So we've gone for a rubber roof, and I'm used to if it's not tiles, then it's a flat roof, and you put a couple of layers of roofing felt down to make it waterproof. I'm used to that. You put one layer goes that way, the other layer goes over the top. So it's still 18mm OSB board, but it's a single 2mm thick layer of rubber.
Oh, really? What'd you do? Stick it to it?
Yeah, and you use a special adhesive to glue the rubber to itself to make it bigger. Yes, it's just
2 mil.
And it's very, very thin. It's manufactured by the Firestone Tire Company.
Right.
The guys that make the IndyCar tyres over in America. So, and it's got a 30-year guarantee. It looks the part, but it does get hot. Very hot.
Yeah, I could imagine.
We've not had hot yet here in Southend. The hottest day we've had is 25 degrees. And the roof, I've got one of those laser trigger thermometer efforts. And the roof externally at about midday was 55 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow.
Bloody Nora.
So that's warm. So I went on the inside. We've got no insulation on the inside yet. That's the next stage. Pointed the laser at the roof, and the roof was 30 degrees. So it was absorbing, but not allowing through 25 degrees, which I thought was quite impressive.
That is quite good.
Internally the floor's been done. It's massive space. It really is a big space. With the vaulted ceiling now there, it just feels so much bigger. 2 meter extension on the end. It's a big space.
What are you going to do with the extra space?
Fill it with rubbish. No, the extraction system's going to be put in properly up that end. And I feel a bit guilty. Mum taught me how to turn, and we had this old Axminster lathe that my dad had bought her back in 2003. And we sold that to some guys at the club, Peter and Linda at the club. And she doesn't like my record power lathes. She doesn't get on with either of them. She struggles to move the headstock and tailstock around. And on Marketplace last week, I came across this Axminster L7. What did I send? I sent you the details.
Yeah, you did it.
For this Axminster lathe. So on Sunday, drove to Kent and picked it up. So that's quite a lot of it filled up already. So the lathes will be up that end.
So it's not in the kitchen then.
That's in the workshop actually, not put together. It's still the guy I bought it off of. It's a 2022 lathe, Axminster lathe, so it's probably just about still in warranty.
Yeah, 5 years. I think you get from Axminster from memory.
Yeah.
What size is it? What model? Is it 355 or?
It is the A370.
370, right? Yeah. Is it like the craft one or?
Yeah, it is a craft one.
Yeah.
She's not a professional, so she doesn't need a professional lathe.
No.
It's 1" 8 TPI. I think it's got something like 8" bed clearance or something. But it's a swivel head as well, so if she wants to go bigger, she can go bigger.
Yeah.
It will be
Swivel
exactly
head?
what. Yeah, it is.
I don't think any of their craft ones were swivel heads, to be honest.
Yeah,
Or
I did the
professional
370. I had the 370, and that was a swivel head. That was a good load, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got 355. That's what I've got, and
Yeah.
that's not a swivel head, and it's the only one I've ever had, and it's done me fucking brilliant. It's superb.
Mum had the predecessor to your lathe, Garry. So ours was yours replaced Mum's. It's just one of those ones that they go. But you can buy the old lathe that we used to have. You can buy in Jet brand, in Draper brand. It's the same lathe.
Yeah.
Buy all of these different lathes. I think SIP still make it. But yeah, it's a perfect starter lathe, but we were no longer starters. So yeah, I bought her a new lathe that will take up space. I've still got the other two that will go in now. And it just gives more space for things like the table saw. So I can get full sheets of material through the table saw and bit of a rejig. The main priority is workflow. It's as it goes back in, I'm doubling the power sockets in there because I can, whilst I'm there, increasing and improving the lights. All new electrics will be going in, and it's just everything will be laid out differently, so I can walk through and get to everything easier. It is important. I often have a spotlight. I've got one of those social media TikTok LED rings.
Yeah.
With that the phone sits in the middle of.
Yeah.
If I'm recording, just to get the lighting right. I mean, you guys must find it trickier than I do with the resin work and having the light bouncing off of the shiny resin.
Yeah.
I don't tend to have that issue.
I can't seem to win because where I am in the garage and the garage door is open, so I've got natural light coming in, and that's
we know you have your garage door open. We can hear the seagulls.
Yeah. That's really hard. So I'm playing it back. When I look at it, it's like some bits are dark, some bits are overexposed, and it's like chaos.
Yeah.
And I can't seem to get it right, you know.
My concern with this new roof, where it's pitched, it's obviously on the inside, it's much taller on one half. So I'm going to have to bring those LEDs back down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not sure I'm going to get the light from all the way up on the ceiling.
Yeah.
First world
Stick
problem.
on some chains.
No, you see, I've got because the way the electrics are going to be run, that you can piggyback each one of these. They've got an in and an out.
Oh yeah.
So they'll actually all be linked together. So I'm thinking I might just get a 2x4 from one end of the workshop to the other. Just join them all together, and if they need some strength, have the occasional post going up to the roof. Because I've just got a feeling I will hit those chain and they'll just swing and they'll be out of reach from me or something. I don't know.
So that roof that's going to get the 50, that's getting the 55 degrees in the sun. Does that mean during the winter it's going to be equally as cold? You see what I mean?
We'll find out in the December podcast, won't we?
You're going to put your insulation up there, though, either way, aren't you? Did you say you are having it in the roof, or you're not? You are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Insulated anyway.
All the roof. I mean, the roof before was insulated with polystyrene, 50mm polystyrene. That polystyrene is now going to be on the adjoining wall to my neighbour's because it's a shared wall down the middle. That doesn't need as much insulation. So the 50mm polystyrene will go on there. Putting 75mm PIR insulation in the roof and 25mm PIR on the external walls. Don't need anything more than that. I've never had wall insulation.
No.
So I reckon it will be. I mean, the temperature out there today. I've got a little thermometer I've put out there. It was about 20 degrees in the workshop. No windows open, nothing, and it was about 25 degrees ambient. So it wasn't that bad in there. Back the windows open. I've got windows at both ends now that can open. So if I need to, I can open the windows. They were free.
Happy
We had
days.
the double glazing done in the house, and I managed to keep most of the glass. So I had 3 windows for the workshop. Can't complain of that.
Excellent.
Saved a fortune, I think. I hate to think how much that would have cost to buy a replacement. Well, I know how much it would have cost to buy them, but yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a couple of weeks' time when I'll be back out there. The first of the videos, I haven't recorded anything. I was going to do this whole workshop tour, and you know, this is what the workshop looks like, and then flick my fingers and it's just an empty workshop and all the work's done, and maybe a 30-second video montage, everything's sped
time
up
frame.
with this roof going up and everything like that. The 2 mates who helped me with the building weren't keen on being filmed. Okay, fair enough. And
Just
I couldn't.
Pentonville.
Yes. Well, one of them went to school with my old man, and I've grown up with the other guy. They are professional builders, but people you know. So they weren't happy with being filmed. Okay, that doesn't worry me. So in the end, everything you've seen has been up on Instagram already, and I've saved it to one of the highlights on Instagram. It's now 2 highlights. There's been that many pictures. It's now 2 highlights. But when I move it back in, I am hoping to be able to take my time and film everything. A lot of it will be talking to camera, but it'll be things like putting the table saw back in, setting the table saw back up, realigning the blade, going through everything, and that will be one video. The extraction system, that's all new, apart from the actual extractor itself. I'm keeping the extraction unit, but I'm getting a new filter for it, going for the pleated filter. Axmin's to do a cyclone unit.
Yeah, seen it, yeah.
For 4-inch dust extractors. So the plan is to attach one of them to a big blue bucket, a barrel, and then mount the extractor directly on top of it. So there's no pipe work to decrease the filtration. Then the pipe work will go up to the ceiling and round the edge of the workshop, and then drop down to each of the tools. So that will be the first video, because that will be the first thing that goes back in, and then I'll work around and do each tool and how I'm setting it up. And so there might be lathes will all be done together probably, but sort of 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 videos of the workshop being put back together.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Well, have you got proper like dust extraction, all the pipe work and all that?
No, I've got garage door that open.
yeah.
That's as far as it goes.
He puts an air hose on the end of the compressor and just blows it all out for the neighbours.
That is exactly what I do.
I've got one of those cyclone things you're talking about, because I've got it off Amazon. I bought literally the blue barrel thing, cut a hole in the top, got the cyclone thing, and just got my workshop vac on that. And you know, that's really good. But I don't generally. I've got nothing that's by my lathe or by my bandsaw or anything like that. So when I do mine, I've got to do mine as well.
I do have one of those quite big vacuum things attached to the hose for the lathe, and I put it on there, and I just got so fed up with like unclogging it every 5 minutes. In the end, I've got rid of it.
Dust extraction doesn't work when you're turning.
Yeah,
it just doesn't. You can't. So the big chunks you're getting off, whether it's looking like Halloween decorations hanging from the ceiling because it's resin, or just streams of wood, that never ever goes down the dust extractor.
no.
You've got to aim for a 4-inch port, and that's never going to happen. So you just got to come to terms with that's on the floor.
Yeah,
and you sweep.
And like you say, it's dust extraction, includes in the name, right?
Yeah,
so
it's not.
It's that's what you're banking on it doing.
I mean, when I do the extraction, I do intend to put one down to the ground and making up a floor, but then I'll just sweep it in that direction. I won't have a hose that I can hoover up the floor with.
Yeah,
I'll just sweep it all in. It's when you start turning, that's when you turn the dust extractor on, because if you've got one of those big funnels that captures it and funnels down, when you're sanding, all of that goes in, especially when you're using the drill sanders, because as you're in there with the drill sander, it's kicking it in the right direction already.
Yeah.
So I only ever turn mine on if I'm doing pens or lace bobbins. I've got a trough catcher. It actually sits underneath the pen mandrel, and the whole thing is as wide as the pen mandrel, so it sucks everything straight in it. So I have it on when I'm doing them. But big bowls and things, now I just make a mess on the floor.
I don't even think like even I've got that cyclone thing, and it is really good because it just all goes in the barrel, and I don't have to clean the filter out in the actual vac at all. And but if I've got a load of even just like dust on the floor, I don't bother just hoovering that up so that goes in it, because it's like, well, I'm clogging that thing up. If it's that big a pile, I may as well just whack it in a massive dustpan. And to be honest, I put all mine like down the side of my garage, right? I just putting it all up so I get those blue, yellow or black sort of building bucket things from like Screwfix and whatever. So just fill them up and then go down the side of the garage, tip it up against the fence. And when I first started doing it, I was thinking, oh, that'll like, drop down and sort of like waste away and all that. And it's like, it's still there, and it's like a little mountain range now. The whole fucking way, the whole way along the fence. Sorry, like the whole way along the fence, and it's gone nowhere. It's gone nowhere. But
no, it doesn't. Mine gets piled up at the bottom of the garden.
Right. Yeah.
But Mum has now said maybe that's getting a bit big. Maybe we should start. I used to put it in our garden waste bin.
Yeah.
And there was no problem until middle of last year. They didn't take the garden bin. Like, well, they're taking everyone else's. Why have they left mine? Whatever. Threw some grass on it during the week. Put it back out there. And I watched them, and they lifted the lid, and they dug past the grass and saw the wood shavings, and they didn't take it.
Oh, really?
So I went out there and I said to them, why aren't you taking my bin? Well, it's got commercial waste in it. How are wood shavings commercial waste? They're just wood shavings. Yeah, no, we don't know what the wood is, so we can't take it. Yeah, wood shavings. It isn't sawdust. It's wood shavings. It's real wood from a tree. No, can't take it. Nowhere on your terms and conditions does it say you won't take it.
No, exactly.
It came back the next week and put a new sticker on it that then said, we don't take wood shavings. Oh, you swines.
Yeah.
So I had to dig out the wood shavings, and they now just go in a black sack if I've got too much, and they take them in a black sack because they've got no idea what's in them. They don't open the black sacks. It composts down, so even if it does go on landfill, it's not gonna.
No, that's right.
Not gonna be a problem. But when you think to yourself, come on, you're just being. Stop it. Just behave. Take the garden waste.
Yeah, no, I always shove mine in garden waste. I must admit, unless it's full of resin, but.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the multicoloured stuff sitting in there.
Yeah.
We've just got a bit of grass on the top. You're all right.
Yeah.
If it was resin, then I could understand them not taking it 100%.
Yeah.
But I think it was walnut, and it wasn't even cheap wood shaving.
Yeah.
It cracks me up. I know loads of people saying to me, well, you must know someone with like rabbits or guinea pigs or something like that. And it's like, no, I don't actually. And they would drown in the sawdust that I generate anyway. I mean, if I took it around there, I don't need some for 3 years now. Cheers.
It's not safe either. I've got a rabbit and I can't use it.
Yeah, I think you told me that. I must admit.
Yeah, because the rabbit shavings are normally pine from the big sawmills.
The rabbit shavings?
Yeah, the wood. Yeah, not shaving a rabbit, obviously, but the sawdust you use for rabbits.
The legit stuff.
I'm not shaving my rabbit.
Well, okay. We're moving on topic here, aren't we?
That's a different channel.
Rabbit. Yeah, exactly.
Get the cheese grater out and just get the RSPCA knocking on the door saying the shavings you use for bedding with bunny rabbits.
Gotcha.
Is normally pine. So I don't know what walnut would do to them or anything like that. It may well be safe, but certainly things like laburnum, I don't think it would do them any good. certainly doesn't do us any good. So I'm not sure it would do a rabbit any good.
Oh, true.
And my son would be devastated if I killed his bunny rabbit with some yew shavings.
Yeah. Okay.
Paws up.
Fair
So,
enough.
but yeah. So that I mean, I've still been working, still been doing events. We've been classing that as a day off, but that still allowed me to catch up with things. So if I've had orders come through, I've been able to do them at the events. Katie from Folk and Bespoke has allowed me to demonstrate at her events now. So I'm demonstrating at places like Rayleigh, Chelmsford, the bigger venues that she does. I can have the lathe there. Their venues have cleared me on the risk assessments and everything.
Cool.
So I've still been turning, but I've only been able to take the little lathe. So some of the bigger stuff I've not been able to do.
No.
So have you sold more at those events where you've been demoing?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Draws people in. Something I do have, I just have a crate of blanks that will either be spinning tops or light pulls. And if the kids are sort of really interested in it, and I haven't quite started a spinning top, or I've just started, I'll sort of say to them, what colours do you want? And I'll let them pick 3 colours. And then I'll do their colours, and that's just captive. The parents are like, oh yeah, we'll take that one. You tell right, I made it for your children.
Yeah.
And it gets the kids involved because they then stare and they stand and watch you colour in their spinning top, and then at the end you give it to them and they take it to the table and test it, and they love it. So yeah, I do sell. It's a crowd drawer, a crowd pleaser.
Especially no one else at her events is doing anything like that, are they?
No. Well, no, she has got one young lad who does 3D printing on site. So he's got this little little 3D printer, and he'll sit there and he'll print like a Pokemon in half an hour or something, or 20 minutes, and just does this little Pokemon figure or something like that. But he does a lot of his own design work, which is why he's allowed to be there. So he'll have his own designs and makes.
Yeah.
So although the 3D printer's done the work, they're his designs and whatever else. So, and he's very talented, very, very good. If I need something bespoke, I think I will go to him to get it done. Give him the dimensions and let him do it, because he knows the CAD software far better than I ever will. So, but yeah, that's what I've been up to. Normal date. I mean, tomorrow I drive to Gloucestershire for an event in Glevham, which is just outside Gloucester. And then at the end of the month, I'm in Nottinghamshire.
Yeah, still about a bit.
Oh yeah. Yes. And then there's the other 2 items. The other 2, I had a business meeting Wednesday to potentially buy a new company.
Oh, really?
It's an events company that we do a lot of work with. He only does, I say a lot of work, he does 2 events a year, but they're specialist lace making and crochet, knitting and quilting shows. One's in Cambridgeshire and the other one's in Birmingham. And they are very good, but he's retiring. So we had a business meeting with him Wednesday to potentially buy the business off of him.
Oh, cool.
And to take that over, because of course I don't have enough to do already as it is. I've also decided, and I've started the building blocks of starting my own woodturning group here in Southend.
Oh, cool.
So an actual club.
An actual club, because
right.
we've got Chelmer Valley that obviously the 3 of us have been to. I mean I've been to Sanding, and yet you're a regular at Sanding, Garry. The only other one locally, I say locally,
Billericay,
is Billericay, Thameside, and that's still a distance. So I've spoken to the AWGB already and got approval to be a member, AWGB member group. I think I've got a venue, which is just down the road from me. So got to spread the word, sort of book people, set a date when I'm going to start the club and start the advertisement, and publicity side of it to get people to want to come along.
Oh yeah, cool.
Is that like you set it up each time as opposed to a permanent setup?
Yes, yeah, I think it will be for now anyway,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Chelmsford Valley, unless
Yeah.
I can find somewhere. I mean, Darren's Park has, or used to have, what was known as Garren's Shed, and it was a man's cave, basically.
Yeah.
You could go and try various woodworking disciplines, and they had a lathe in there. Don't know if they're still going. They've taken all their banners down. The council took their banners down. So if they're still about, I've got to go and have a nose around. But there's a potential I could use their facilities. But I think cost-wise, the church hall down the road, I don't think's a lot of money. I'm just waiting on an email back from them to sort of say, yes, it's going to be X amount a month or X amount of time you want to use it. Confirm what the best day of the week would be for them, because obviously you've got to work around church services, and they're not going to be overly happy with us turning in the background whilst they're doing the service or whatever. So yeah, well, still some legwork left to do on that. But
does the AWGB support any like funding of it? Because obviously for it to get off the ground and book a demo, you could, well, no, obviously you'll probably do demos to start with, but how are you going to get that start-up, Dosh? Do they support it or not?
There's no start-up grant. You've got to start the club, apply to be a member, then you can apply for the grants.
Yeah, okay.
Our regional guy has said you've got to apply for the grants, but the grants are there for you. They will fully, if you want to buy a club lathe, the money's there to buy a club lathe. So there is the support there, but you've got to start the ball.
Yeah,
you've got to do the donkey work before the AWGB come along and start handing the dosh out, just in case it doesn't work. They don't want to hand the dosh out and then the whole thing doesn't work. So,
it's not a money-making thing then. It's just obviously setting a club up in an area where there isn't one.
Correct.
It's not,
yeah. I'm not doing this for Tree Carcass to make any money. It's not going to be under Tree Carcass at all. It'll be Southend Woodturners.
Yeah.
Open to anyone. And there's just nothing here in Southend for it. But the amount of times I'm at a show in Lee or Rayleigh or Westcliff or whatever, and you'll get one or two woodturners each time, and they'll go, well, where's the nearest local club? Chelmsford.
Yeah.
So, and then they go, oh, okay. When do you meet? Wednesday evening, starting at 7, finishing at 10. And for the older people, they don't all want to be out at that time of night. They don't want to be driving all the way to Billericay, all the way to Chelmsford at that time of night.
Yeah.
I mean, Barry doesn't normally drive it. He gets Louise to give him a lift because she's more confident driving at night. I can understand that. So I just thought there's not anything around here, so let's do something about it.
Yeah.
If no one else is doing something, you might as well. So, yeah, because of course I haven't got enough to do. But yeah, I mean, it's only been a month, 6 weeks since we last spoke, but it's been busy for me.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I'm looking forward to August, I must admit, getting some time off. Looking forward to it. So what have you guys been up to, Gary? You wanna?
Yeah, so I touched on earlier on, so I'm getting a new workshop built in the garden because my current workshop, which is my garage, is getting knocked down because I'm building a house and then it's knocked my garage down. So I said, you're not knocking my garage down without giving me somewhere else to work, so you need to build me a workshop first. So yeah, I had all the base laid for that last week, and yeah, the chippy's supposed to be starting next week, hopefully, and they want to get that done sharpish so that they can get me out of my garage, dump everything in there, and then they can knock that down and start doing all the groundwork for the house. So yeah, there's loads of shit going on, loads of stuff going on for that. Yeah, all that's going on, and then just my turning. Yeah, same old thing. I was going down there. My crochet hooks are still doing really well. Another one to Australia the other day. It took 6 days. That was all. Geezer messaged me today. 6 days to get to Australia.
That's not bad.
Good. It's really good, yeah.
Especially when you consider at least 24 hours of that would have been on an aircraft.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But anyway, so yeah, so those going well. And then a few weeks ago, I sort of had an idea. So I use Etsy, and Etsy works for me. You know, without a doubt. We've got obviously all over the world. You've got that option. As long as you set the postage right, then you know it's sorted.
What are you setting for your postage? Just out of interest.
So Europe, I do 15 quid. UK, I've upped it because I had a couple of instances where I was doing it first class, and I had a couple of instances where it went missing, and I ended up having to send replacement crochet hook sets, right, the whole lot, which for me is like 50 quid a pop, and I'm like, okay, all right, done it. So what I do now, I do first class signed for, so there's actually a signature for it, and so that was a bit more on the postage. So for UK stuff, I think it's about, the actual postage is £5.80 or something like that, so I do about £6.50, but I put that in my listings that, you know, it is first class signed for postage, so they know that, you know, I'm not mugging them off or whatever. So I do that there.
UK.
Yeah, 15 for Europe and 25 for the rest of the world. So yeah, I've sent them like Australia, Japan, loads to America, loads.
They're basically the same costs that I use as well on my website.
Yeah.
It's
to be honest, on the American ones, it's normally only about, and that's first class tracked and signed, right? And that's only about 15-18 quid. So it's not bad at all, and it's bloody quick. And with the tracked and signed, you can literally track it every step of the way. So it's really good. It's really good postage sort of thing. So ultimately on Etsy, once you set that right, it doesn't. It's just wherever they've come in from, it will sort it out for you. And also the beauty of that is in certain countries where they have to do some sort of like customs sort of form and all that. Yeah. That prints that all out for you as well, and you just stick that on there, and it knows, you know, if you need to put a code on it, it gives you the code and everything. So that's why it works for me. I don't have to think about it. And when where I get a cha-ching, it don't matter if it's a geezer down the road or someone in Australia. They pay the money and it does all the stuff for me. So
and you can print the postage labels direct from Etsy.
I do all that.
You can't fault Etsy for that. You've got a worldwide audience, and they make the processing easy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I literally hit print postage labels, wrap the thing up in a box, stick that thing on it, take it up to the post office, and then they're not even doing anything. I'm just saying, it's all prepaid, bosh. They just take it through the window, job done. So I'm in and out in minutes.
If it's big enough to fit in the post box, you should just throw it in the post box.
Yeah, you can. But I like to get the proof of the postage thing that they actually give to you over the counter.
Yeah.
Because I've had a few of those. Where I've needed them. So anyway, so that'll work for me. And then I can't even remember what gave me the idea, but I know what it was. I'd got when I went to Sandham Wood Club at one point, some guy had sort of like given someone this box of old acrylic blanks, like pen blanks essentially. But he used to make like knives and use them as the knife handles as well.
Yeah.
And he used to sort of like, you know, make some of his own blanks. So some of them were random colours, different, not the usual sort of stuff you get off all the sites, right? So I've got a standard set I'll get, and although all those acrylic pen blanks are unique, you might get the pink and aqua one. So all it is a slightly different shape on this slab, but it is the pink and aqua one. So I generally get the same sort of ones, and you know, certain ones are popular. And when I had this stuff, I was thinking, there was this blue sort of aqua ones he had, and I just only had like one of them. I didn't have any more, and I thought I can't recreate that. So I thought, you know what? I wonder if I say I'm doing a special edition Danbury Wood Workshop crochet hook. It's special edition #1, never to be repeated, right? And I'm thinking, I wonder if I could get any interest in it. And I thought, I need to do something with it. So I used the offcuts of it to make a little. I used a bit of laburnum as a stand, almost like a little pot. And on the top, I put the acrylic resin. So drilled the hole so the actual handle would sort of sit in the little pot. So it's like a stand. Because so many people turn around and go, oh, they're so beautiful and all that, they're so pretty. It's a shame to keep it in your crochet bag when you're not using it, right? So it's almost like a display stand. So I thought, what I'll do, I'll make this little stand with it, call it the special edition, and I put all in the blurb. I said, look, this is the idea. I'm going to have this up for 3 weeks. I'm treating it like an auction. I'm putting it up for 500 quid so no one buys it. And I'll leave it open for 3 weeks. If you're interested, it's blind bids. Just tell me how much you want to pay for it. And whoever the highest is, it don't matter if it goes for 5 quid or 50 quid. That's what I'll sell it for, and I'll cover the postage. So basically, I've done that, and it was hard work because you're thinking a lot of people on Etsy don't read the descriptions.
No.
So I put a big thing at the start saying, this is not 500 quid, right at the top, you know. And but then I started to get a few people going, yeah, I'll bid like 30 quid. And bearing in mind, my normal crochet hook's the same sort of thing is 50 quid, right? So there's a benchmark. And so yeah, and funny enough, it finished last night, 10 o'clock last night. Pure fluke that I'd done it, and 3 weeks ago, and I was thinking, not the night of the England game. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, I'll have to pay attention because obviously the game had just finished, and I'd messaged. There's only, to be honest, I only had about 5 people bid on it, right? And some woman came in to me from America during the match and was going, I'm really interested in bidding on your aqua hook. And that was all she said, right? And I was like, okay. I said, well, you've got a couple of hours left, so you need to sort of like, you know, tell me what your bid is. And so the highest bid I had up to that point, so someone had bid like 30 quid, someone had bid 65. Then this American previously, she'd bid $95, which is about 73 quid, right? For happy days. And then this other one, like near last minute, she goes, I'm willing to pay $100 plus. Is that enough? And I went back and I went, I can't tell you that. That's, you know, that's the whole purpose of it. It's called blind bids, right? so you need to tell me what you're willing to pay, and I will compare it to the others or whatever. And she just come back straight away and said, okay, $150. And I went,
Jesus.
Okay, thanks for the bid. I'll let you know in an hour or so whether you've been successful. And it was like, no way. And I'd messaged all the other ones earlier on in the day and said, look, just a reminder, it's 10 o'clock tonight or 3 hours, wherever you are. I'll message you and let you know if you've been successful. And yeah, so it sort of worked. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I shipped it off to her this morning. And the other people, so the girl who bid 95. When I messaged her and said, like, I'll tell you in a few hours, you know, whether you've been successful, she's going, oh, thanks, I'm so excited. She goes, I'm actually just playing a game of softball at the moment, somewhere out in the States. She goes, I'll have to look after the game. So when she sort of come back and I'd said, like, unfortunately you didn't win it, she goes, oh, that's a real shame, I really liked it, because I'd done the pots. I went, well, look, I can do you a custom one if you want, and I'll do it for the amount you bid. So I'm doing that for her, and one of the other people done that as well.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah. And some of the other people, even in between, while I've had that thing up there for 3 weeks, so some guy bought one for his missus for her birthday, like a normal hook, and he got it, and he goes, oh, she's made up with it and whatever, and he goes, now she's looking at that pot thing you've got, would you be able to make that? So I've made a 3 requests to make 3 pots, because it's all about the matching acrylic pot with the hook. They love it. They love matching stuff, right?
They do, and it works. It works well together as a matching pair.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Will?
No.
Yeah, it's on my Etsy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, nice.
And that just stands in the top, and that's it. So that was. I had another woman a little while ago. She she got one of my hooks and she was raving about it, and she goes, "Oh, I need somewhere to store it now because I want to keep it nice and sort of like smart and whatever." Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So I went, okay, I could do sort of like a box or something like that. She's going, "Oh, that'd be perfect." She goes, "Could you do it so it can hold up to 3 handles in case I want to get some more?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I went through
The
this.
whole point of these crochet hooks is they're interchangeable, so you don't need to have.
Yeah, I know, but I've had so many people buy multiple handles off me. It's unreal. And yeah,
to be fair, people do use different sizes at different times. But
they just unscrew
one set
it.
up as a 3mm, one set up as a 4mm, one set up as a 5mm. But yeah, they'll just grab them and do them. That's why I started doing the new individual ones I do.
Yeah, I've done some of those. I've had people ask me, "Can you do me like?" Because some of them aren't available on those interchangeables. So I sort of
8mm and 2mm.
Yeah, 8mm 9s and all that, and then just do one of those and whack it in a handle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done this box for this woman. So I had this sort of lovely. I'd got it off eBay ages ago. Just some sort of like it was sported beach, I think it was, and it was quite thin. So I thought I could try and make a box out of that. So I basically went through the whole palaver of making that, and then I've got some of that. You know, like the foam, the shadow foam stuff they have in toolboxes with all the spanners cut out and all that malarkey. So it's all like purpose cut. So I sort of like done that, cut it out the space for the 3 handles with all the hooks in the side and whatever. And yeah, she had that and done that for 80 quid, I think. There's a touch on that. But yeah, it's a few things spinning off it, because then she was going, "I want the 2 other hooks. What ones you got?" And I'm showing all the colours, going, "You can have that." So she bought the box and then bought another couple of hooks, which another like 80 quid or whatever. So yeah, it was going all right.
My recent crochet hook design of my handles. There's a company in America that makes crochet hooks, and they are $175 per size.
Wow.
$175 a size. And they're resin and wood combined. Normally a burl or something nice wood, and they're joined up with, like this grave, swirly, glittery resins. You know what they're like. And a friend of mine went, "Oh, can you make these?" Yeah, of course I can. Yeah, not a problem at all. So I looked them up, $175 each. I was like, "Yeah, that's not a problem at all." Quick look at the conversion rate at the time. I said, "Well, that's okay. I could do them 135 quid each." She went, "No, you misunderstand. I don't want to pay $175. I said, "You're not. You pay £135, but I'm not going to charge you delivery or import tax on them." In the end, I sell them out at per size, wooden resin. That's why I wanted all that burl off.
You cut out right at the point when you said how much there.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah.
At 50 quid, I sold them for.
All right.
My wooden resin ones, single size. And I just buy off Amazon. You can buy a pack of hooks. They're just metal hooks. I cut the tops off for the actual hook itself. About £2.99. And they go from a 2mm up to an 8mm with half sizes in between. And they're glued into these handles that I make.
Yeah,
So
I do those, but I find it tricky. How do you, out of interest, because on the smaller ones, it's sort of like almost being able to hold. Do you use a mandrel? Do you do both ends, holding both ends, or just one end?
No, they're clamped into a set of jaws.
Yeah.
Find the middle and make sure it's in the middle. Drill the hole, and then the tailstock sits in the hole.
Yeah.
That you've drilled. Turn the handle, glue the thing in.
Oh yeah. So you're gluing in that individual hook size that you've bought off Amazon, the £3 thing or whatever, and you've drilled whether it be a 2mm, 3mm, 4mm hole, and the tailstock's right. Okay.
Yeah. So my tailstock, where I do the lace bobbins, my tailstock is really tapered and very, very thin.
Yeah.
I reshaped it deliberately so I can get really
Right in.
right in.
Yeah.
So a 2mm hole, it sits nicely inside the 2mm hole without damaging it.
Yeah.
The problem I have with the wood and resin ones is where you have wood up one end and the resin up the other end, and you're holding on to the resin. As you're working it, resin gets soft. There's nothing in the middle of it. So unlike the interchangeables where we've got that rod down the middle, there isn't anything. So you start getting vibration at the headstock end. And if you take that tailstock away, they just ping off. Where the resin is just soft, it just snaps. So I found having wood, resin, and then wood at the end more stable than just having like a 50-50. I tried to do them the other way around, so there's wood up headstock end and you drill into the resin. But again, it just gets too soft as it's worked. Even if I've left it a week to cure, it still gets soft when it's worked. I mean, Will must find that with the eggs, it can get soft.
No.
Have you not?
So mine don't. Mine
No,
don't do that.
never.
Right, might be the Epodex resin.
Yeah,
you use a
the old
brand. Again?
Is it old, the resin?
I don't have any at the moment, but no, I normally use it up straight away.
Yeah, okay.
It could be the resin I'm using. Could be.
Yeah. No, I've never.
It's
never
designed as a deep pour resin, but
Yeah.
it could be that. I don't know. I don't like doing them. I've decided I'm really going to pull away from resin. I'll fill cracks. If I've got a bit that's got a crack in it, I'll fill that with resin. I just don't have the patience. I can't get the finish that you guys get with it. I just don't have the patience for it. You guys just do a much better job.
I like it. I've done it like a little Stanley old.
Yeah, I did actually see that, Gary.
I saw that one. That's,
I'm itching to do a pencil.
Funny enough, I've done this, and it's some woman at my work. She follows me on Instagram, and she's messaging me going, "Oh my god, I love that so much." And she's going, "Can you make me some sort of candlestick holders, basically?" So I'm going to make them out of pencils. So I've ordered a shed loads of bloody pencils today. Actually, the key thing is with this is like you've got to get it central, because if you go off centre, you go through one of those and the bloody lead in the middle pops out of one, and then you're trying to claw it back and get far enough in, and then another one will go on the other side, and then you just throw the whole thing away. So it's all about getting that central. So did you see that one I put up? That one?
No.
I just got.
You put that one up today, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I did actually.
Yeah,
I just had a load of they're like beads off of Timu. So they've got like some of them got holes in and whatever, but it goes obviously the resin.
Beads.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But and then I just whacked a bit of walnut on the end. But again, it's just more things just to whack in. You know, it's like my missus. A Dosset box tablets. Yeah. She's going, "Oh, I'm throwing these out." I went, "Well, hold on, I'll have them." She's going, "What the hell do you want those for?" And I was going, "They're basically like it's like an ice cube tray, really.
Yeah.
And I can put different colour, and if I use alcohol inks so they're translucent, then I can make all them, put them as a round ring in a bowl, and then it'll be like a light in it, and it'll be like a stained glass sort of like window, right?"
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, don't throw that away.
No.
Did you see that thing I've done the other week with the swolf out of the acrylic blanks? That light.
No.
Yes, I did see that one.
Mate, that's come out the nuts. So we spoke before about reusing all your resin.
Yeah, I've got bags of it. I just haven't done anything with it.
So when you actually drill through those acrylic blanks, that comes out a little bit more crunchy, right? It's a bit more. It's not so strandy, and it's a bit curly. And I've been keeping that, and because obviously you're doing all the different colour ones, I've ended up with these tubs of all different colour of those strands. So then I was like, okay, time to whack some of that in some resin and see what happens. Because ultimately, we know the acrylic blanks turn lovely, right? And they polish up lovely. So even though it's just the crunchy bits, when you get to that turn on the edge, it should still come up nice.
Yeah.
So I just had an old tub out of one of the old like Marks and Spencers, you know, like the little Rocky Road things and all that, those little tubs when you get the honeycomb crunchies and all that stuff. One of those, whacked, just turned a bit of wood, put in the middle, whacked a load of resin, put all that stuff in around the side, and then turned it, and it was like, yeah, this has come out nice. And the light, and I just got one of those little, on Amazon they do those little wooden base plates, and they've just got about 6 or 7 LEDs. It's almost like for a display, you know, you've got like a thing that sits on top of it. And then the beauty of it is it's just got like the little click switch on it and then a USB plug. So you just whack that on the plug, and the light coming through all of those colours of the sort of different swirl. It looked nice actually. I've kept that, and my missus is going, "Are you going to sell it?" I was going, "No, I really like it. I've got it on the side out there." It's
where you keep something of your own, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you started thinking, oh, could I do a bigger one? That's technically like a lampshade, right? Going to need a lot of swarf, but it is technically a lampshade. And
you use a lot of acrylic, so I bet you can build that up quite quickly.
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I've got a fair old whack, but like you were, I've got some of the sort of off cuts of all the turning as well, which are a lot more strandy. A lot of that comes off sort of a lot of white though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a lot of colour in it, so.
No, regardless of the colour of the acrylic or the resin, it always comes white. Sometimes it's got a little hint of colour in it. But
some of them have, some of it has, but a lot of it is just white.
So going back to your pencil pot.
Oh yeah.
Holder, not holder, crochet holder. I tried pencils when I first started playing with resin, before I knew what I was doing with the different types of resin.
And
I used a polycarbonate resin. I didn't know. Do not use polycarbonate resin for turning. So I've got this. It was big. You know, I'd bought like 1,000 coloured pencils, stuffed them all in this tub. Thought I'd make a whacking great big bowl out of it. This was about a week after I'd done the bowling ball bowl. So I've stuffed them all in, filled it with this resin. Great, this is going to be amazing. The second I touched it with a chisel, the whole thing just went
exploded,
showered in pencils, and it's like, yeah, that didn't work. And luckily I had the face shield on because I knew it was going to make, because I'd had the experience with a bowling ball, of the mess that can come out of not using wood. So I had this face shield on it, and literally I had done nothing else with it, and it literally exploded. I was like, what went wrong there? So I went on a few forums and they said, oh yeah, what's the resin you use? And I looked like, oh yeah, polycarbonate resin. Yeah. Don't use that. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Use epoxy. I'll use epoxy. The things you wish you knew before.
Yeah, you only learn by mistakes, and
And I've not gone back to try coloured pencils again. As I said,
no, I haven't.
Probably won't.
No, I haven't. But I do want to. I must admit.
I was looking around to try and get what's the best value colour pencils you can get. I was looking on like Temu, and then you go on like Amazon, and you go like, okay, 32 for this much, 64 for this much. And okay, that works out like 14p a pencil. And I think in the end I think I've got a 144. 144, I think it was, for about 14 quid or something like that.
Yeah. I find myself scouring Amazon just to see if there's anything that I can cast on there, just anything, you know.
Yeah. That's what I done on Temu, right?
Yeah.
I've got all these different beads and stuff like that. Yeah. Thinking, yeah, okay. And you got to make sure, because I made the mistake of, if you're going things too small, a bit like the pencils, if you go in and you're going to take like 90% of the thing out, it's going to pop.
Yeah.
So it's got to be big enough, hasn't it, to sort of like hold its own. Otherwise, because as soon as one pops, like I say, you're chasing that bit down, and then you get one somewhere else. And
Will doesn't do small things. Come on, we know Will doesn't do small things. It'll be a 1 foot tall vase.
Yeah, I'm trying to do some smaller stuff, but
the smallest he goes are his eggs.
That is probably the smallest thing I'll do. Yeah. I was replacing the fish tank the other day because the last one it leaked all over the floor. And went to the fish shop and I'm looking at the bogwood thinking, oh, do you know what? That's probably turnable now. I could cast that.
I thought you were going to say fish. I thought you were going to say I'll put some fish in resin.
His wife's in the background going, oh, for goodness sake, Will, can't we go in a shop without you buying something to turn?
I quite fancy having a go at that.
You've done roses in resin already.
Yeah, that come out. Yeah, that come out really well.
Yeah. I still haven't used that. Do you know we spoke about that a while ago, and I said I bought some of that silica stuff because you didn't use it. I dried some leaves out in it, but I've not actually done nothing with it. Still.
I was going to ask you about that. How you got on with that?
Yeah.
I'm going to a wedding.
Tried them out, right? But, yeah.
I'm going to a wedding in a couple of weeks' time, and I thought, what I'll do is, I'll just tell them to keep one of their like the roses. I'll cast one for them, and I thought about you. And at the time, with the silica gel.
Yeah.
But apparently, what is it? Is it the dogs? Apparently, the dog treats come with like the silica packets.
They do. They do.
Yeah, so Tracy's going to save those for us.
What, those tiny little things?
Yeah.
You get shoes and everything.
But where Lauren's asthmatic, she gets a little one of those pouches in her asthma pumps and everything. She's saving them all for me. She's now started opening them all up and putting them in a jam jar. So
yeah, happy days.
Jesus Christ, you'll be waiting a long time to get enough to.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You're going to go, well, I can do one leaf or one petal of the rose, and I can stick it back together as they dry out.
I might have to look on AliExpress or Temu or something like that, because I've got some pine cones I need to dry out for a pine cone plate I'm going to do.
I've got a bunch of them actually, and because the things with them, it's almost you cut corners a little bit and just put them in the oven for a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely stabilise them.
Yeah.
But you've got to get the right pine cone.
Well, my old man, he's got a fake leg from the knee down, right? So he's obviously, and he's like 80 odd, so he's not the most mobile in the world. But sometimes I get him round here, and he just sits on a chair in the garage while I'm doing my stuff, right? And he's happy as Larry, right? And he come the other week and he had this Tesco's bag. He goes, I saw these and I thought you might like them. He goes, I had murder like getting up. My leg nearly fell off getting over the fence, and he's like climbing over a fence with a Tesco's bag, trying to scoop up all these, and they're big buggers. They're big buggers, and I didn't really look in the bag to start with, and I was like, okay, cheers for that. I put them down, and then when I got them out, I was like, bloody hell, they're massive. So I've got to do
the big
something.
ones, which have got the bigger bits coming off of them, they're quite solid. Inside there are the seeds, and you'll have the same problem that you've had with the pencils that you'll have with this pine cone. As you turn them, you expose the seeds, and they come flying out at you. So just as you're turning, just every now and again, just stop to see how deep you go. You might just have to glue the seeds back in as you're going, because the resin doesn't penetrate down to them, even in a pressure tank. It doesn't get it down there.
No.
That's the only thing I'd say about pine cones. Pine cones, you do things like the eggs, like what Will's done. You could do the goblet challenge that Chelmer Valley's got. The next quarterly challenge is to make a goblet.
Yeah, I'm not there for that actually.
Are you not?
I'm
September, is it?
I looked. Yeah, I think it is September, isn't it? Yeah, I'm away. I'm away that week, so I won't be gobleting at all.
So before we go on to what Will's been doing, how big's your garage to put a house in it? Because you said you're knocking the garage down to put a house in place.
Put a house up, not in the garage, because that would be a big garage. Yeah. So the garden's long that way. It's not deep out the back of the garden. So there's a farmer's field out the back, but then the garden goes long that way, and at the far end it just goes into a nature reserve. There's nothing else there. And
Very nice.
I didn't even think I bought the place, I don't know, 3.5 years ago. Didn't really think anything of it. And then one of my mates come around about year and a half ago. He's going, "Oh, it's wicked down here, isn't it?" I was going, "Yeah." He goes, "It's a big up," and the garage is sort of like almost set halfway down that long part of the garden, so it's not full width. And he went, "You should apply for planning permission because I reckon you'd get it." I was going, "Nah." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, like, build a house down here. He goes, split the land off, sell your house, move into this one, job's done. Like, sort you out retirement wise. I was going, "No, I don't think so, mate." And he's going, "You should do it. You should do it." Anyway, so that was that, and it all started off. Didn't think it was going to get anywhere, but got the planning permission. Going through the process of splitting the land off now, and yeah, they got builder and everything lined up, and yeah, they need to, like I say, to make the width, they need to knock the garage down, and then there'll be a bit. It won't be a massive house, but I said to my missus, if we can build a bloody house, then we're gonna. I don't care if it's small. We'll make it work. Do you know what I mean? Because then I can flog this one that I'm in. Because this one is a lovely house, but it was built in the sort of 70s, so it's not the most economical. And when I came here, I was going to get cavity wall insulation done, but the whole house is like rendered the whole way around, painted white. And you're thinking cavity wall, mate, you're drilling holes every 12 inch every foot or something like that, and then even if they then patch the holes up, you'll still see the difference in the render and all that. So it was like, so all of that stuff. I thought, you know what, I'm going to sort of see what happens. So every step along the way, I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to get a knockback, and unless something drastically happens. Yeah, unless something drastically happens, like they start piling and then they go, hold on, there's some massive like thing down there. It's going to cost you 300 grand to carry on. Then I'll be like, there's the point right there. It's just to get and take that time to get there. But hopefully, it carries on. So it's just sort of like one. And the workshop is almost like a little mini project, because the geezer who's done the groundwork for that, he's going to be the one who's doing all the stuff for the house. And the bloke who's the project manager, who's doing it all, he's doing both bits. So it's almost a little mini house build to do the workshop.
So how big's your workshop going to be?
Yeah, he done the base, and it's pretty big. It's 10 by 5 meters.
Oh yeah, that is big. Yeah, that is. Yeah, nice.
Big.
That is
to
big.
Put that into perspective, mine is 8 by 2.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's quite big. And then I said to Mrs., but I need somewhere down there to put all my garden, like the lawnmower and all that, because all my sort of shed stuff, if you like, is in my garage.
Yep.
So when the geezer come, I was going, I don't really want to use any of that space in my garden stuff, so can you just whack another like 2 or 3 bit of space on the side so I can just have that as a shed? He's going, don't you think this will be big enough to have shed stuff in as well? I was going, yeah, probably will, but I don't want to put nothing in it if I can help it. No. I'm going to section off like 2 meters of it as a separate bit and have it as a wood store sort of thing, just to have all that stuff out of the way if I can. But then, I've got all the stuff to think about the like you said, about the workflow but all I need to do for now, I said, look, just get it built, and then I'm just going to dump everything in there. I'm not worried about getting it all sorted. Get everything dumped in there so they can crack on, and then I'll take my time in relation to try things out in certain places, give it a trial, and then settle on, okay, I have the table saw there and the bandsaw there because I'm always going over there from there and all that sort of stuff. And then once I've worked with it for a bit, then think, right, that's where they're going to go and sort out the dust thing from there.
When you look at tools like bandsaw, table saw, the footprint of the bandsaw, the footprint of my table saw with the wings on, it's about 1 meter by 0.5 meter. But of course, when you put anything on it, you've then got to allow the space behind it.
Yeah.
Because if you put anything right up next to it, you then you don't have the space running out, and you've got to have the. How big are you going to be? Are you going to be putting sheet goods on there like I do occasionally, or are you going to just be tidying up? I don't know, just bowl blanks or whatever, and they just go through. So you've got when you look at workflow, you don't just look at how big the tool is. Oh yeah, that looks lovely there, great. And then you find it's unusable. So as you're putting things in, and you'll go, oh yeah, that's great. And as you say, as you use it, you go, that can't sit there like that because it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It needs to work, you know. And I've got the advantage of I've been doing that for the last 3 years. So I've been through all of that, and I now know what I do, how much space I need, what I put through it. So things like silly little things, like my table saw at the moment, if you stand at the controls, I was facing the door. So to get sheet goods cut, I had to pull them over the top of the table saw, rest them on the lathe, because it wasn't a big enough space, and over the saw and run them back again. So something as simple as turning the table saw around. So you walk through the door with the sheet goods straight onto a table saw. It's that sort of silly little thing that you think of. And it was positioning a window in the workshop. So at the door end, I've got a window either side of the door. And as you look at it, the left-hand one opens because that's where the mitre saw is going to go. So if I've got a 4.8 metre long piece of 2x4 I need to cut up, I can open the window. And it can hang out the window. Otherwise, it ain't going to fit. So, you know, it's when you look at a workflow of a room, it's amazing, just silly little things.
Oh yeah.
That you'll experience in. Oh yeah, that's how I could fix that, and that's how I could do that. So yeah, when you get to putting it all back in, yeah,
like I say, I'm just gonna dump it all in, have it probably in relation to where it is now, and then sort of like work it from there. Plus, there's other things I'm gonna get a lot more things on, sort of like on wheels and so that they're easily sort of like mobile and whatever and stuff like that. So that makes a big difference. So yeah,
you'll have the space to be able to do that. You'll be able to have all your like table saw off to one side, and then when you need it, you can wheel it out in the bandsaw. I don't have the space for that. It's 2.6 meters wide, my workshop, so I don't have the wall space.
Didn't you have an extra bit added on the side though, or something, or was it just on the back?
Went on the length.
Oh,
so
okay.
I couldn't add anything onto the width because the patio is solid concrete. There's about a metre of concrete that I'd have to try and cut through. And Mum's stores are there and various other bits and pieces. So I couldn't go wider. So I could only go longer. So we went 2 meters longer.
Right.
But it's a 1930s garage, so it was designed to fit a Mini in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a modern what people class as a 2-door garage these days. It's a lot wider than what I've got. It's good fun, isn't it? You'll enjoy the extra space, especially if you've not got to fight your lawnmower and.
Well, I haven't. I've got a lot of space where I am now, and I was working it out. I think when I worked it out, I think my garage at the moment is something like what was it? It was about 42 square meters anyway. And so the other one, it's adding 8 on it. It's a different sort of shape because obviously it's a double garage, so it's more square. And I haven't got the lawnmower and all that in there at the moment because that was in this other bit that I had down the bottom. So none of that was in there. I've probably got a few things in the garage that I wouldn't have ideally, but there's not loads. So I've got a lot of space already. But it's just the fact that it's that bespoke space, and I will proper make sure. And a lot of the racks I've got where I've got wood, I will have them in a separate bit. So it'll just feel a lot tidier and whatever. So and I'll have better view down there and shit like that. So
Nice.
yeah. So Will, tell us about your recent experiences then. Sounds like you've been having fun with resin again.
Yeah, I've been having a little bit of fun, yeah.
This 2-month story of a vase.
No, he's probably longer than that now. So I got, and I still got 2 videos on YouTube that are doing phenomenally well. And I was like, well, where do I go here? And then I suddenly thought, right, okay, I've never seen this before. So I thought what I'd do is I'd make a decent sized vase, you know, and I'd do it out of malleable, and I cast it in clear. and I'll decorate the inside. So it has like, and I put some colour. So I did it in orange, clear orange resin, right? And I painted the bell on the inside with like different colours, and it looks incredible. But I just can't finish it. I must have finished it 15 times, and I've actually finished it probably 3 or 4 times to a standard where I thought that's good enough. Right, and then just gone, oh, well, I'll just do one more coat of lacquer, and it's like spat over it, you know. So I'd strip it all back again and start again, and I've done that 15 times now, and I kind of just lost interest. I hate it, bloody
Yeah.
I can't even stand the sight of it. So I've shoved it to one corner at the moment. So that's that, and yeah, I've been going on that for a good couple of months, probably over a couple of months now. So I've been really late on posting, and I did actually put some. It's a local girl knocked on the door and said, "Oh, will you make us?" It's a cheese board, effectively. It's a round cutting board. And she wanted to put just a resin river in it, and she said, "Will you do it for us?" I said, "Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I can do that." So I'd done that for her, and I stuck it up there. And because I haven't posted for a while, YouTube kind of hates me now, and that's doing terrible.
Oh, right.
When did you post that on YouTube?
The other day, it was probably last week. Yeah, last week it would have been. Yeah, and yeah, it came out quite nice actually. She gave me the bit of oak. So the bit of oak is something to do with her grandfather or something. It was a lovely bit, and she said, "Well, will you turn it up for us and put a resin river in there?" So like, yeah, no problem. It's just a thin. So the River Weir is for a wedding, and they live.
That one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
That's not come up at all. I've had no notification at all.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I told you, YouTube hates me at the moment.
I sort of like the things I've seen of yours. You know, it's recycling some of your old stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I've sort of seen that come up, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen that come up at all. Weird.
He does that continuous loop stuff on Facebook, doesn't he? He posts
Yeah, I
up.
do. Yeah. Facebook is a cash cow. Love it. Brilliant.
So you still get like massive numbers on those on the reposts or whatever you're doing?
Yeah. So it's very rare that I don't get less than 2 million views a month on Facebook. Yeah.
Even if you're like those ones you've posted them
A
numerous
month,
times before.
Yeah. Even just repurposing the old ones.
So 3 weeks ago was the last time I got a notification from you on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Maybe that's why.
And
Yeah. YouTube hates me.
The like and share. Sorry, the bell icon and everything. I've done all of that on your channel.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't do that on everyone's channel.
No.
I do it on yours. So yeah, So you released one 2 days ago, which was the.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a channel trailer.
Yeah, I also stuck a channel trailer because it's starting to drop off a bit, so I need to promote it a bit. So there's a channel trailer on there, which I've used on my website. That's the only reason that's on there.
Yeah, and then the one before was that Woodturning Wizardry Scrap Timber to Glossy Master.
Yeah, that's doing well. That gets 5,000 or 6,000 views every day, consistently.
No way, nice mate. I need to start putting my stuff on bloody Facebook. You focus on Facebook, don't you? Did you say Facebook's the best one?
I would say that Facebook and YouTube are probably paying about the same.
Right.
Around.
They pay me about the same as well. Nothing.
Yeah, no, they're both paying good money, you know. Yeah, 200-300 quid a month.
Nice mate. Each of each one.
Top of his sponsors as well.
Yeah, I mean free resin. Oh, I've got stacks of it.
Have you?
Share well.
Yeah, stacks of resin. They give me Let's Resin got on the other day and said, "Oh, is there anything? Do you need any more?" No, don't send me any more resin. I've got loads. And I went, "Oh, actually, I'll have a bit of your tabletop." Anyway, that come in the post yesterday, and I'll have a cardboard box. I only use 15 mil at a time. Other than that, that's probably been about it. I'm doing another scrap wood Probably do a vase. So I'm just prepping for that at the moment. I'll cast that at the weekend because they seem to be doing the best on my channel. So tip from
What are you
David.
doing sales-wise? Because I think David has a similar issue. He does well on YouTube, but he struggles with physical sales.
So locally, I've got I've got my mate, the Morrison's delivery driver. He's a good. He comes around every now and again, and buys a batch of eggs. Other than that,
What does he
I'm
do
not.
with them?
He uses them. He gives them away as gifts. And he's the guy that yeah, he's the Morrison delivery driver. And I was doing that massive bowl, and it's like 16-inch bowl, right? Like, which I didn't really know what to do with. But I had it on the lathe, and he just happened to like deliver. And he said, "Are you selling that?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, how much do you want for it?" I said, "Well, to be honest, I need to get rid of it because it's massive. I don't know what to do with it, you know." I said, "You can have it for 50 quid." And it's bro. And since then, he comes around like every couple of months or so. He bought loads of stuff. Other than that, not really selling much. This is why I started Etsy about a month ago. I thought I'll just put some stuff on that. That's not doing anything either.
Etsy can take some time to build traction.
Yeah, okay. But I thought what I might do is I might move to Spotify anyway, because Spotify have an API for Shopify. Sorry, Shopify. Because YouTube has
Spotify is
API.
where we put the podcast.
Yeah. YouTube has an API into that, and you can link it in your. I thought actually maybe that's probably might get a bit more reach, but
what I found with Etsy is getting the right hashtags.
And do you have to put a hashtag? Yeah.
You've got to get the algorithm for Etsy right. But once you start getting orders in, Etsy focuses on you as customer service as much as your product. So, and Garry will have, I doubt Gary's ever dropped below star seller. You miss your delivery date by a day, you lose on your percentages. You have a bad review, it can really knock you back quite badly.
Yeah, okay.
So it's all about keeping your good customer service up with Etsy. And as you keep your good customer service up, you appear higher and higher on their search listings. So, and once you appear higher, the orders start coming through. And having things like international sales on boosts you up the rankings. If you don't have that turned on, you will appear lower than people that do. It's all about getting the right right heading, the right title, the right description. It's like YouTube. It's getting all of those factors correct for your video to be seen. It's exactly the same. They probably use the same algorithm. To get you boosted up.
Spend a lot of effort on YouTube SEO.
Yeah, where Garry gets a lot of sales on Etsy, he keeps that seller up, and the more sales you get, and the longer you stay as star seller, and you get your delivery targets right, and all of that, you just keep getting your orders through because you appear higher up on the list.
Yeah.
There's one of the goal is to get, I can't remember what it's called. It's called their choice, or you can become one of their picked sellers, or something like that. And then you're right at the top. And when I read like how do you get to that, it is like it says things like exceptional customer service. It's almost like they have to manually review that sort of stuff, right, to sort of see what's being said. And
it's an American
it's almost
company.
it's like come on, get me up there, because I think I'm on like. I might be on, sometimes some of my stuff's on the first page. If you search for crochet hooks, for example, I might be on the second. But if you can get on that top one, and my sort of feedback's been coming in. So yeah, I think like you said, I haven't missed a star seller, and I just jump on stuff all the time. And every review I've got is 5 stars, and people, because I interact with them, they'll respond, and then they'll do the reviews, and it's all stuff like, oh my god, this stuff is amazing, blah blah blah. I saw a woman today, right? She messaged me because what I'll try and do is then once I've engaged with them, I'll then try and take it off of Etsy, the conversation, drop me a message on this, and then sell it direct, and then you're saving on the fees.
Yeah.
And she said she said, your stuff is amazing and all this sort of shit. Oh, sorry. And then and she went, just for reference, she said, this is something I paid 65 quid for each one of these hook things, right? And mine are 50. And she sent me pictures of them. Mate, they were shocking.
Yeah.
They weren't even polished. They weren't even polished. Absolutely freaking awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. It was mental. And she goes, you just get some people. I said, because she was asking me about making some other things and whatever, and I said, well, it's all about the time versus sort of like money, and you know, not that you're money greedy, but there's no point me doing something if I'm going to get £2 an hour for it. So it's just not worth it. And she said, no, yeah, I get what you're saying. She goes, but every now and again you'll stumble across someone who just pays whatever for things on Etsy, like me. And it's like, yeah, okay, all right. So it is sort of like, you know, getting that balance right. But the customer service thing is just huge.
Because they're an American company, they are customer service focused. The Americans are very customer service focused. That's why their tipping is so huge out there. You've got to give good customer service, and that's what Etsy sort of aims at. And the downsides. There's two downsides to Etsy. Firstly, there are a lot of us on there, a lot of wood turners on there. If you search for something quite generic, wooden pen, for example, when I was on there, I could have been 10 pages down the list. And they're all using the same kits as us. They're all using the same basic woods as us. They're all basically the same price as us. So you really got to stand out. And as I say, as you get better, as you get the good customer service, you'll appear higher up on this. The other downside are their fees. I find Etsy, because over here in the UK, you're not meant to be charged VAT on a service. So you're not really meant to pay VAT on delivery, things like that. So if it's a service, you don't pay VAT. Products you do. But with Etsy, you get processing fee plus tax. You've got a delivery fee plus tax. And I mean, if Garry has a quick look, I've no longer got the seller's app. But if Garry, you'll get, and it's only a small percentage each time. We're not talking extortionate fees. It all works on a small percentage. But on one of them, I went with their advertising and I sold a fountain pen on Etsy for 80 quid. By the time I counted for the postage, seller fees, I used their advertisement, because you can get higher up on the list if you pay for Etsy advertising, and it's the same with eBay and wherever. And the cost of the kit and the little case to put it in and everything, I actually lost money on it.
Yeah.
Sold
it for 80 quid and I lost money on it.
Yeah.
So what they do, right, is I'm looking at my thing now, my payment sort of transactions, whatever. So there's something going on there saying this is the payment that the end client paid, right? And then off the back of that, there's a 4% processing fee. Then there's sales tax. Then there's a transaction fee. Then there's a transaction fee on the postage, a VAT transaction, a regulatory operating fee. Then everything is then recharged on the shipping as well. Then if you've had it's clicked through from one of their ads, there's another charge for that, like you say. It is a lot of money, and it's all like, it might be sort of like, 16p here and whatever, but it all adds up. And I when you do it, you can say whether you want to advertise your stuff, and the cheapest you can do it for is $1 a day. That's the cheapest option. That's what I do. And it's almost like if you don't do that, you're screwed. And then straight away, if you're not selling anything in a month, you owe them $30. Straight away. So it's almost like, and you've got to get that balance right of sort of doing it, but you've got to sell some stuff to even just net off.
Yeah.
But like you say, when you start to get some fun come through, then fair enough.
But you cannot fault Etsy for the size of the audience.
Yeah.
Because you are
Yeah.
literally talking tens of millions of people around the world who have
Yeah.
got access and shop with Etsy. And the ease of use of Etsy. Because it's easy to use. You throw your picture up, you've got your title, your description.
Yeah,
You're
easy.
selling, because you've preset your selling, your postage stuff. And at the end, you press print and it does everything for you. So, although those fees are quite high, you're actually paying for how easy the end result is for you to list on there in the first place.
Yeah.
Because if you actually weighed up, I'm sure if I actually weighed up the cost of my old Etsy fees to what I pay now on the website,
yeah, probably the same.
about the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So when you're paying your hosting and all that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I pay £30 a month to Square for the website.
Yeah.
And then they charge me 1.7% per transaction.
Yeah. So
on every transaction.
Same as mine. Yeah.
Every transaction, whether that's face to face or online. But then I then have to go into Royal Mail separately, their click and drop, and do all the Royal Mail stuff. So I've then got to enter the address and do all that to get the post. Or if it's something international, I take it down to the post office and go, post that to America for me, because I don't know what I'm doing. They say, yeah, it's this much, sign here. So, yeah, I reckon once you take everything into account, it's probably, those fees are probably about the same as what I'm paying now.
Yeah.
And when you think you're getting the exposure you're getting for that's hard. That's hard to put a monetary amount on that.
It is.
So it's, you know, how much, out of interest, how much do you do for your website, your direct website? Do you get many sales through it on a monthly basis?
Not much. Not very little. Sold, I don't know, 3 or 4 bits off it ever.
Oh, really? What about you, Mark?
Bowls don't sell. I've stopped making bowls. I've said I will never make a normal bowl again. Never make a normal bowl again. It'll be yarn bowls and square and triangular edge bowls because they do sell. But lace supplies, crochet hooks, lace bobbins, I sell quite a few of them through the website because I go out to the events around the country and they'll order from me.
Yeah.
You know, so I do my own advertisement out on foot, and crochet hooks sell goodness knows how many on the website. Financially, a month probably on a good month, 250 to 300 quid.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's not bad. It's good.
When you consider a lace bobbin is £6.50, £7.
Yeah.
I mean, today I had one order come through. It's just under 50 quid for lace bobbins. So
yeah, it's good.
But bowls don't sell. Chopping boards aren't on there at the moment because international postage on a walnut chopping board. I am not. Oh, Gary just had an Etsy sale.
I didn't, mate. Come on, you don't know the sounds, do you? That's an Etsy message. A sale is a ching.
That's right. It was, wasn't it? Yeah,
that's a lovely sound. That is. That is a lovely one. Yeah.
But no, I do significantly more face to face. It's worth me driving to Gloucestershire tomorrow and staying in a hotel overnight. With the fuel and everything involved, it's worth the travel. But then I'm at an event virtually every weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You know. Chelmer Valley will potentially do another Folk and Bespoke Chelmsford event. And if Chelmer Valley does an event, all Chelmer Valley members are allowed to attend and put stuff on the stand. And it gets sold via Chelmer Valley and you get reimbursed.
Okay.
Garry came to one last year at Hanningfield Reservoir. Those sales were rubbish and the weather was rubbish. Yeah. But then I was at one a couple of weeks back, and I think I did 150 quid.
Yeah.
In a day.
I was due to actually, because I struggle with them, to be honest. I can't be bothered. And but I thought I need to do one this year. So ages ago, I signed up for one, and sod law, it was last Saturday when the footy was on, right? And I was thinking, I ain't going to that because I knew it's 5 o'clock kick-off, and I had loads of people come around here, and it's one of those ones where when you're in it, you can't leave early because you're in like in the middle of everyone and all that.
Yep.
So I just sort of gave the stall to my my sister-in-law a few weeks ago. I said, hey, you can have it because so I haven't done one. My missus is going to me, you need to do one because you've got so much tut, in her words, in here. Of all your bowls and all this other stuff, and etc. She goes, you can't just keep making it. I was going, and that's the main thing. Hardly anything. Now and again, I'll sell something else on Etsy. I've got a lot of other stuff on there, like you say, bowls and odds and sods.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much, if I didn't have them crochet hooks, I'd be screwed, absolutely screwed, because that's my thing. And then I just get off the back of that, I'll just get people say, "Oh, can you make me a yarn bowl? Can you do this? Can you do that?" And then just get them bespoke ones from there. So, yeah.
It's I don't get the can you shift your tut because you've got too much of it, and you've got the difference. You guys have got, you've still got day jobs. So you're semi-professional. You sell what you make, and you take orders. I mean, obviously, will you with your memorial eggs and the other eggs you make and your crochet hooks, whatever. But if I don't sell, I haven't got any money.
Yeah.
So when Etsy wasn't doing, Etsy was costing me money.
Yeah,
each
that's
month.
the thing.
So I had to stop it. I couldn't. For me, it wasn't financially viable to carry on with Etsy. I tried Folksy, and that was even worse. I wasn't even getting any views on Folksy. So in the end, it was right. Okay, my website initially was free because Square you can set up a free website, and then they just charge you per transaction. But I now pay for the additional. Oh, if you pay this much a month, you can have these features.
Yeah.
Okay. The other advantage I had, I mean, this doesn't apply to either of you guys because you don't do them, but where I go to an event every weekend, I'd sell something at the event, and that item's then physically walked off, but then someone will buy it online a couple of days later. So I had to take Monday to go through everything that I'd sold and make sure I'd taken it off of Etsy.
Oh, bullshit, yeah.
And some people were like, oh yeah, that's why I have this box is my Etsy stock, and then this box is what I take out to events. Like, yeah, but I haven't got the time or the money to spend producing double amounts of stock to keep some left over on one side and to take stuff with me. This new website I've got is linked to my point of sale. So the order that came through earlier, that's already off stock. No one can sell it. It's physically been posted already, but no one else can buy it. And over the weekend, if they buy a crochet hook or a seam ripper or a yarn bowl or something, it's immediately off of my website. I've never got that stock control is actually worth half a day in itself.
Yeah.
4 days a month. So actually, that side of it for me was much, much better. But I don't get the exposure at the moment. I'm still growing. I'm not like people like Darren Breeze and Simon Hope or whoever who have got a massive following because they've been in every magazine for the last 25 years.
Probably not quite at that level yet, mate. Jesus, it's good to aspire to. Those boys are different gravy, aren't they?
Darren's been saying he's been struggling. But I think because they've got physical shops, haven't they?
Yeah.
I follow Darren on Instagram, and he closes his shop, or he was closing his shop 2 days a week to go to do a day job. No, not to demo.
Yeah, I saw him. He said he was doing a demo. So he was doing a demo. That's why he closed his shop.
Oh no, he was doing it. He actually tried to do a day job. I say tried. He didn't get on with doing the day job. That's when I last saw him at Chelmer.
So Simon's even more of another level because obviously he's got the whole bloody tool run.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Him and Paul have got their own tools and stuff, haven't they? So yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to need any of that. I don't know. Might do.
Signature skews and all that old malarkey. Bloody hell. One day, boys, one day.
Yeah.
Weren't you looking at making your own tools?
No, that was just when that was it Carla was at Chelmer Valley, the Carolyn, the Carolyn.
Laminate.
It's pronounced funny, isn't it? Yeah. And she was talking about, she made her own tools, didn't she? And then obviously that then puts your thought in your head, and then never to be surfaced again.
Yeah.
After the next week, and someone else shows you something else that they've stuck in resin, maybe, and then you focus on that.
This month, I think it's next week for Chelmer Valley, isn't it? Is it next week? Yeah, next week for Chelmer Valley. There's a demonstrator. I've never seen this demonstrator that's turning up. I miss Mick Hanbury. I was quite upset. I missed Mick Hanbury. I was rendering at the time.
He was quality.
Yeah,
I've done a bowl actually. Did you see my green bowl done? I followed his process. It was come out lovely. Very
we've
good.
got a lady joining us called Tick Chalice.
I've seen her before.
Has she been to Sandon?
Yeah.
All right,
We'll
we'll
chat later.
catch up wherever. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'll
Send it
keep
over
you
whenever you're
updated
ready,
what
Will.
Have a good
Yeah,
no
nice
worries.
one.
Have a good week, gentlemen.
Yeah,
You too.
cheers, chaps. Ta-ra.
See you later. Bye.